Good morning. Welcome to the trailer park. I think I have a few issues. Oz, if you're out in the Ethernet, I am having a problem kicking off the rock fin, and I'm assuming it's because I have no stream keys. If you guys will bear with me for a second, I'll kick on some driving music, and I'm going to try to get our rock fin going because we love our rock finners. You guys hear that? If you can. Good morning, gamer. I saw you pop up. Yay! Welcome, Kate. Okay, let's see if I can get this. Oz, I'm assuming you're logged in as Beauty and the Boomer. Let's see. I have the stream key in the back channel somewhere. I just got to go find it. What a mess, right? These things, I tell you. But I'm learning, and now. What?
He said he just kicked it.
Oz kicked it for me.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Oz. I know what's wrong, and I know how to fix it, so it won't be a problem next time. Let's see. Get logged into some of this stuff, Brand. Let's turn that down a little. You guys been watching AM Wake Up? I kind of listened a little bit over there. I'm letting everybody file in. Good morning. Jill, welcome. Little. Hey, Holly, welcome. Holly midlife. Yeah, I hear you. I'm midlife too, right? We got a great show, you guys. I've got a lot of kind of throwbacks to last week, what we talked about with the crazy drugs that are kind of taking over for fentanyl. And plus, I got to talk about the day's news, right? I'm getting ready to head to DC for Hands Off Assange, thanks to you. And I've got some updates for you. There's a lot of hype that's going on. I'm really proud of all of our brothers and sisters that are getting out there and pushing the Assange message. I think it's the most important message, because without truth, where are we? Where are we? If they can prosecute anybody who tells the truth, we're all screwed. So we're going to talk about that. I got some funny memes, and we just got some stuff to look at, of course. So yeah, okay, Copeland, welcome. Copeland Morris and Fred Edwards, 10-4 dinosaur. Yeah, that works on any show, right? If you don't know, I do a show called Beauty and the Boomer, and our theme song has the saying 10-4 dinosaur in it. Okay, I'm feeling a little discombobulated, but how's the sound? First off, how's the sound? How's the sound out there? We're going to do a sound check before I get into videos, because we had an issue on Tuesday, but I think we've got it worked out. Let's see. I'll just turn that off for now. Okay. Oh, so it cranks itself up. Okay. I think we're good now. When I get back from DC, I'm going to change cameras. So I'm going to change angles, so I'm not side eyeing, because I can't see all four screens. So I'm like this the whole show, and I just don't think it looks very good. So I'm going to try to get my new camera mounted up here to where I'm kind of looking at both screens instead of side eye and everything. Because I got the rock fin here, I got the studio here, I got the presentation and slide deck here, and then the very far monitor, I have anything that I want to bring you guys on the fly, like Twitter, that type of stuff. And I got another monitor that's going up above up here. So I'm sorry if I seem a little crazy. I don't know how else to describe it. What's going on this morning, guys? Let's see. My mom takes low doses narco. A lot of people do. My mother took opiates. We're going to talk about the difference between an opiate and opioids today. I don't think people understand that it's not just one big thing. There's different classes on how they work, on your brain. Yeah, engineering is always fun. It's a freaking blast, ain't it? So yeah, we're going to talk about that. And a lot of our family members are. Every single person in my family in the last 20 years has had some kind of narcotic script from a doctor, which has led to a multitude of problems, even death. So definitely what I want to talk about. Hi, Kate. Hi, Kate. A-Cat, welcome. Welcome, A-Cat. I love to see all these new people coming in. You guys stopping by from the Fair and Balance show, maybe? God, what a great stream last night Farron did about poor Nick and Ricada Law. We're going to talk about that too. If you don't know, LawTube is under attack from YouTube for telling truths. Don't tell truths. We know that. We learned that. We were like the first round of people censored, the independent progressive people that were out there since 2016. We were the first ones to take it on the chin, and now we see a lot of other spaces taking it, like LawTube. You tell some truths, and that's what happens to you. Let's see. Let's get the formalities out of the way. So Here we go. Fair use. Anything I'm talking about, I am here just to give you my opinion. I'm commenting, I am criticizing. I am not claiming that this is, my research or my work. And shout out to the people I do bring. If I'm featuring somebody, I'm trying to bring you, I want you guys to know who I'm featuring. I'm not trying to just plagiarize their shit. So thank you. How is everybody this morning? Tuesday. Sounds good. Okay, well, when we get into the first audio clip, that's really when I'm going to need your guys' feedback. I might play a few seconds and then pause and wait for you guys to catch up, because that's where we tanked last time. And it's because I have 2 instances of my mic coming through for some reason. And I talked to StreamYards about it, but they were just kind of like, oh, so that's what it is. PayPal, if you would like to help me out, and you guys have helped me out, let me tell you, we're going to talk about that too. I've got some huge thank yous to give out today and shout outs. And it takes a village, and you guys are a village. And I'm just so elated, and my breath's taken away by how much you guys support and encourage, and just, you guys do this. I don't have any other way to describe it. Taken down. Farron talked about it yesterday. Yeah, gamer. I was in that chat. What a hell of a chat. She had 2.5 on that chat, and they were just on fire with the truth. And all they did was tell what Nick did, right? Nick didn't do anything that was worth being kicked off of LawTube, YouTube, and Twitter at the same goddamn time. We know it's a conspiracy. They all work together, right? You get taken off of one platform. Next thing you know, within 24 hours, you're knocked off of all the rest of the platforms. And that's because it's all one big cabal. And we know that. Oz, you rock. Oz, you do rock. Thank you for getting my Rockfin up and running this morning. Pretty sure I know where the problem is, and I will get to it. I just wanted to see if it would actually bring the stream key today when I hit, go live, and it didn't. So I'm obviously going to have to force the stream key and the RTMP over there, but I'm figuring it out. Hey, I didn't even know what an RTMP was 6 months ago. So I'm learning. A couple of cute memes I got. A fully erect Mark Zuckerberg foaming at the mouth and cheering his approval as I snap my opponent's neck and narrowly win my posting privileges in the second annual Meta versus Cage of the Band match. I just thought that was funny because, right, he has all the word. They have all the power. What's going to happen when Elon gets Twitter, right? Is it going to be Elon against Zucker? I mean, is that the world that we're headed for? It absolutely is. Oh, let's see. Why do I feel like I look like Liz Cheney today? Maybe it's the glasses. I think it's the glasses. I got to stop with the Liz Cheney look. Conspiracy theorists, the term used to discredit someone who speaks about things that you can't bear to look at, because if it were true, it would reveal a darkness in the world that you simply are not ready to accept. God, ain't that nailing it right on the head? And when you get out there and you start looking for some of these truths, just go to a place where anybody says it's a conspiracy theory and start digging, and you'll see the darkness. And that's truly what it is. I can't, after this is why I'm so supportive of Julian Assange. I came through the Bernie Sanders campaign as a delegate, and I was seeing in real time what the DNC and the Hillary for America and, all of these crooks were doing, and how they were cheating and how they were lying. And there was no way to hold them accountable. They just gaslit us every day. You guys are full of shit. You're lying. We're not stealing information from Bernie's campaign. You're stealing information from our campaign, right? And we were told that. We went from February of 2016 all the way till, after the DNC convention, September. When did the WikiLeaks drop? Vault 7, in October, I want to say, right? A month before the election. And everything that we saw, all the dirty tricks we saw playing out, they were, validated by what was in those emails that Julian dropped for us. And from, that was the same summer of Seth Rich's murder, right? And it was murder, but it wasn't a random robbery. And I will say that till the day I die. And, it makes me sad that even his own family doesn't recognize what he did for our country. But this is when I decided we've got to fight for Assange. I wasn't an Assangeist 2013, 14, 15. I bought the bullshit. I bought the propaganda. I ate it up. Oh, this guy, he's selling our secrets and, he's a crazy, whatever you want to call him. And I bought it. But there was a part of me deep down that was kind of like, yeah, he's telling truths about the government. And then once I got inside and saw for myself, yeah, and the Russian disinformation troll farm. Absolutely. We saw that in real time in the Bernie groups. I was a moderator of a lot of Bernie groups. And yeah, we just saw all the bullshit. It was shocking to a lot of us, like, why are they attacking the Russians? We had a really decent relationship. I think most Americans thought we had a decent relationship with Russia in 2015 and 2016, right? And we're like, why the fuck are the Dems trying to start the Cold War again? And then of course they blamed it on Trump. Russia got Trump elected along with Julian. Well, we see how well that worked out with Trump's cabinet and what they did for Julian, which was absolutely fucking nothing. And we're going to talk about that because I know y'all have seen Stella Morrison's clip last night when she pushed back on Bolton. What a thing of beauty. So we'll play that too. So have you ever done some deep research only to realize that if you talk about it with people, they'll think you're crazy? Yes. And that was what coming out of the Julian Assange Vault 7 WikiLeaks was like for me. I mean, Pizzagate and the whole QAnon bullshit, if you went and you actually looked at those emails, there's something up. And that Pizzagate wasn't just some crazy QAnon conspiracy. And don't get me wrong, I had no use for QAnon. I called them out for the psyop that they are from day one. But now we know. Ugh. So we'll get into that too. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. So let's get down there. So hands off Assange. I want to thank everybody. Let me get my banner up here. Huge thanks to everyone who helped get Roar Media to Hands Off Assange October 8th in DC. Kate, Suzanne Murphy, Linda Anthony, Andre, Anthony, Farron, Mitchell. Let's see, Shannon. There's so many. Al Walski, Rick Lefebvre, Robin, Rose, Arim. Oh, Arim, you do so much for our communities. SF Thomas, Becca C, Aspen Falling, Jax Page, Red Cloud, DC, Patty in New York, Michael Pineno. Some of you know who he is. David Crow, Eric I, Rob Juno, Hobbs 45, The Crazy Puppet, Leonard Trust Fund, Jim, Osama number 5, and AR. Thank you so much to all of our wonderful Patreons too. You guys keep us going throughout the year, the months. Eric T. Red, Linda Anthony, Independent Left News. You guys need to be following Independent Left News. Schulte, Snorky, Y2K, Jilly Love, Barbara H. and Arim, Nice to Buckley, and Ronnie Graham. Thank you guys so very much. This doesn't happen without you. These shows don't happen without you. Traveling and being able to get the interviews and the networking is so important, and that's the most important thing that'll happen in DC this weekend. Is so many of us will come together and a lot of stuff will come from that. I mean, To Hell and Back originally came from the last time we went to DC because Pasta and I met and we're like, let's talk about addiction. Let's get out there. This is a topic nobody's talking about. So much comes from these trips more than just being out there protesting and, talking to each other. So all because of you, it's happening. Thank you so much. Damn, you have the best supporters. I do. We do. You guys are the best supporters. It's just amazing. So I can't thank you guys enough. I'm going to leave this banner running the whole show. I am so damn proud that it takes a village and I got a village. So we're just going to keep kicking independent media ass. Okay, so 2 scoops of justice. Did you guys see Misty Winston? She stopped by Jimmy Dore the other day. It makes me so mad. I don't know if it's Jimmy's internet that clips or if it was maybe Misty's. We all have internet problems, right? But some of us think that the people on Jimmy, maybe it's intentional, right? Are they intentionally hacking at Jimmy? I don't know. But this is just a quick clip of Misty talking about the event. So I want to touch base on that. Oh, what did it do? Go back.
No sound.
How's the sound?
No sound.
No sound. I got sound good over here. Sounds good from my end. Everybody's saying it sounds good. Is there no sound? I'm going to wait a second and see if it catches up. Why would there be no sound? I might have to switch to a different studio, but let's see. We'll try again. The sound's there for me, so it should be there for you. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, really quiet. It's muted. Okay, let's try again. I don't know why I'm having the worst. Now I have internet
Welcome,
issues.
Misty Whiston. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good.
Thanks
I'm
for coming.
good.
Now I'm going to show everybody. Here's what's happening, right? So
There we go.
this is happening this Saturday at 12 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, are we good?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that. So I'm going to start that over just because, it was very quiet. Some of you weren't hearing it at all. I think we're okay now. Not on the rock fin. Yeah. Of course not. Okay, let's try this again. Y'all tell me if you can hear it and everything's okay.
We have special guest Misty Winston with us. She's an activist whose work focuses on press freedom, freedom of speech, and anti-imperialism. She's the co-host of the Action for Assange podcast. You can follow her on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust. Please welcome Misty Whiston. How are you? Good to see
I'm
you.
good.
Thanks for
I'm
coming.
good.
Now I'm going to show everybody. Here's what's happening, right? So this is happening this Saturday at 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Department of Justice. That's at 950 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., noon to 3 p.m. Look at all the people who are going to be there. And I wish I could be there. I won't be able to be there, but there's going to be a lot of great people there. So tell me more about it. Oh, did she freeze? Oh, I apologize.
Okay, we're back. Thank you, Misty. It's all right. You froze. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
So this actually started in London, and as is the case very often in the Assange world, when somebody starts a protest, everybody does a protest. So it started in London. They're actually doing a really cool event. They're going to attempt to surround Parliament for the first time in history. So they're doing a human chain around Parliament, and so that amazing action started. Absolutely relentless. And it kind of snowballed from there. An event took off in Australia. I decided to do one in DC, and now there's events taking place all across the globe. So our event, as you mentioned, is going to take place from noon to 3 outside the Department of Justice, which is really ground zero for the Assange case. That's where the charges stem from. So we amazing speakers, people like Chris Hedges, Jill Stein, Dan Cohen, Ben Cohen from Ben and Jerry's. A ton of really amazing people are coming out to.
Poor thing.
Julian Assange.
That frustrates me. She gets on there and she cuts out so many times, but technology the way it is, we just get so. Jimmy has the most followers out of all of us that have been in this independent space for a long time now. So when one of us gets our message over there, it's important, and that's why I share it. I'm sorry it cut so many times between my internet and Jimmy's internet. That was a hard clip. Maybe my internet's done being stupid. I'm hoping it is. So are we good sound wise? Let's get the show on the road. Let's see. Bernie has his limits, gamer, but he is torn in the side of some assholes in Congress as a board when it comes to Russia, though. But Bernie's always been terrible on foreign policy, always. And I hear a lot of my former associates and friends out there pushing that Bernie should run in 2024. No, Bernie should not run in 2024. Absolutely not. It would be a waste of your money and your time, because that's what we saw. We saw millions and millions and millions of working class dollars that were stuffed into Bernie's pockets, ultimately the DNC's pockets, right? Because Bernie would turn around and give that money to them. Bernie would turn around and give them his email list, right? We know that all those, what was there, 80 million names on Bernie's list or some shit that the DNC ultimately ended up with. Let's stop feeding the DNC via Bernie. So please, I don't want to hear no more shit about Bernie running. And I was a Bernie delegate for, many years. So it's time to stop the madness. Please stop the madness. Did y'all see this? I have to play it. I know everybody played it this morning, but Stella just ripped Bolton up last night on Piers Morgan, and it was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty. It's a great interview. I'll probably take a copyright strike from Piers Morgan, but I don't care. I'm willing to do that for Stella and her, her guts. How gutsy is she to get up there and call him out to his face? I freaking love Stella, so let's play it.
First of all, why is America so intent on bringing Julian Assange to unbelievably draconian justice of 175 years, i.e. the rest of his life in prison?
Well, I think that's a small amount of the sentence he actually deserves. He's committed clear criminal activity. He's no more a journalist than the chair I'm sitting on. The information that he divulged did, in fact, put many people in jeopardy. It undercut the ability of the United States to have confidential diplomatic communications, not just with other foreign governments, but in many countries with dissidents, people who even speaking to American diplomats could find themselves in trouble. And so, he's been complaining about his treatment over the past period of time. He's the one who sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy. Now he faces extradition to the United States. I presume he will get due process in the United Kingdom to determine whether extradition should go forward. And when he gets to the United States, he'll get due process here. And I hope he gets at least 176 years in jail for what he did.
Stella?
Well, of course, Ambassador Bolton is kind of the ideological nemesis of Julian. He has, during his time for the Bush administration and later the Trump administration, sought to undermine the international legal system, ensure that the U.S. is not under the International Criminal Court's jurisdiction. And if it was, Mr. Bolton might, in fact, be prosecuted under the ICC. He was one of the chief cheerleaders of the Iraq War, which Julian then exposed through these leaks. So he has a conflict of interest here.
Ambassador Bolton?
Well, that's ridiculous. I have an opinion. So does Assange's wife. I guess we both get to speak them. I think that what she fears is being brought to the United States and having Assange put under trial. If he's innocent, she can at least show reasonable doubt that he's not guilty, he'll go free. What's she worried
Whatever.
about?
I guess what she's worried about is a fair trial, because it's pretty clear what the attitude towards him is.
Oh, that's just infuriating. That guy. Oh my God. I mean, we have been tearing down Bolton for years for the war criminal that he is. And yeah, he needs prosecuted. And he laughs because he fucking knows it's true. He says people were scared to have communications with America. Yeah, you guys were scared that your secrets were going to be told. And that's exactly what was happening. This guy, this is a classic example of why Julian should not come to America to be tried here. I mean, the bias in our courts and come on, don't tell, well, if he's innocent, he'll be set free. How many innocent people have been prosecuted under our justice system and have rotted in prison? How many? I mean, so many. And we know this. It's so frustrating. I'm so proud of her for getting out there, doing the rounds. She has done an amazing job of doing the talk show rounds, trying to get the message out there to as many places as possible, advertising. I've seen full page ads over in Europe for people to turn out for Human Chain. If you are in the UK, if you can get down to Parliament, please, please, please go be one of the links in the chain to go around the Parliament. I mean, this is how this whole thing started. We'll be at the Department of Justice doing what we can out there. But if you're in the UK, please tell your government not to frickin' send him to America, because he will not get a fair or just trial. And we know that. I mean, the fact that he's not even an American citizen, we're prosecuting him over an espionage act that's so fucking out of date. What is it, 105 years old? Is that how old the 2007 or a 1917 Espionage Act? This is insane. Yeah, I agree with you guys. The audio is better now. Okay, great. No audio? You guys are confusing me. You say there's no audio, and then there's Aaron Mate was on Jimmy yesterday. It was a good show. I didn't get a chance to watch that. There's some things I don't agree with Aaron Mate. Oh, you're just seeing this for the first time, DC. Good. Yes, it's like a 10-minute clip. Go watch the whole thing. Stella does an amazing job. She's so composed. She's fighting for her love, her family's life, right? And I will stand with her always. The truths that Julian gave us, I was with somebody who was working for a subsidiary of Halliburton during the Iraq War. He went to Iraq and he worked for Kellogg Brennan Rid. He was a truck driver who would run the mail. And every 4 or 5 months as a subcontractor, he would come home to America and he would bring these videos. A lot of the videos that we saw, thanks to Julian Assange, I saw when it was happening because they would pass them around like, see what we did, see what our military is doing. So I saw a lot of these horrific death videos and what, our military drones were doing. This wasn't a secret. A lot of this stuff wasn't a secret. So to say that it's all on Julian for releasing it, it's time to set Julian free. He's more than paid for any crime that they could actually pin on him, but we all know they're fabricated. So we're going to do our best. We're going to be out there interviewing people, trying to share Julian Assange's message. I think this is the most important fight because without freedom of speech, guys, we don't have anything. And if we let truth die here, we'll never see it again. Never. And I don't understand why so many people, just listen to what Bolton said. Go back and watch that interview. He pretty much threatens the rest of the journalists who are reporting this shit. That's what this is. This is a shot across journalism's bow. If you report truths that are leaked about our government, we will come for you. We don't care who you are, where you are, if you're an American citizen or not. And they're trying to set the tone for this. Yeah, free Assange. Absolutely. I got one more for you guys, and I wanted to share this one. You guys can find it. She stopped by Jordan Peterson's show, and Jordan Peterson gave her 2 hours. I find this a really important conversation, whether you like Jordan Peterson or not. I used to be on the can't stand Peterson bandwagon, but I'll tell you what, more and more, the things that he's saying are starting to resonate with me. And I don't know if that's because I have an open mind or if it's because I'm becoming closed-minded. I feel like we're this certain pod that has such truths and such information that we have sought out that it's hard to have conversations or to be around those who don't know the truth, right? So we end up in our own echo chamber, which always happens. But I try to always question. Okay, could there be another version of this truth? Could there be more to this, right? So I find myself questioning the hate that I had for Jordan Peterson because I think he's saying a lot of things that are right nowadays, but I'm not going to be on the fan wagon, but I love that he brought her on. So I think I brought like 2 minutes of this. You guys go check it out. If you got nothing better to do today, you're doing laundry or something, turn it on and listen to it in the background. That's what I do with these couple hour type of, podcasts or interviews because we get such important information out of them. So another great interview from Stella.
Speaking with Stella Assange, who is the wife of Julian Paul Assange. And I'm going to start with his bio in a strange twist since he at the moment can't speak for himself. And then I'm going to turn to hers. Julian Paul Assange is an Australian editor, publisher, and activist who founded WikiLeaks in 2006. In 2010, WikiLeaks published a series of leaks provided by American intel analyst Chelsea Manning and attracted widespread international attention and outrage, I would say. In early 2010, Manning, who reported being horrified by the behavior of then his colleagues, disclosed 750,000 classified and unclassified, but sensitive military/diplomatic documents to WikiLeaks, an online news site. The US government then launched a continuing criminal investigation into WikiLeaks. In 2010, Assange began to be pursued, and I say began because it went on for a very long time, began to be pursued by Swedish authorities for alleged sexual misconduct episodes. Those charges were eventually rescinded. UK authorities, operating as a consequence of the Swedish call, arranged a potential extradition. Assange, at that point, broke bail, violated UK law, and took refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy, where he remained under different conditions for many years, from 2010 to 2019, but was finally arrested and returned to the UK, where he has been imprisoned since in Belmarsh, Category A prison in London. He currently faces the possibility of extradition to the US and possible prosecution there on some 18 essentially espionage-related charges. According to the Irish Times recently, it's now a year and a half.
Not muted. Okay. I'm getting better about not muting myself. Yeah, I love your guys' comments. Did his Kermit voice package undergo an update? I don't know. You know, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I do find myself appreciating some of the things that he's saying in some of the spaces more and more. But I think Piers Morgan's a bootlicking idiot too. And I'm glad that Stella is finding some platforms to get out there. And you know what? They're reaching a bunch of viewers. I mean, Peterson's got a lot of Republicans that follow him, right? So if we can get this information out to the Canadian, Republican types, if we can, I think we're reaching a whole new audience. I did an interview on Tuesday with a Republican congressional candidate, and they're behind Assange. I mean, they're starting to get it. They're starting to hear us. So as much as we hate these platforms, good on her for getting out there and continuing to get Julian's message out. You know, I think it's so very important. And we're going to do so much work. You know, Amber and I are going to do the great race. So we're leaving here tomorrow night from the Seattle area. We're taking an all-night flight into DC. We'll land first thing in the morning. We're going to hit the streets, and we're going to be at the Department of Justice and everywhere else that we need to be. And I'm never going to see a bed for the first 24 hours. So I'm going to record all this. I'm going to make you guys a great video on the great race to DC. I don't know why my camera's tripping out today, but it's going to be fun. So stay tuned. We'll be doing live streams, be checking in. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. I can't wait to get interviews with some of these people. If I can get them cornered, believe me, I'm going to. Send me your questions. If you got a question for somebody that's going to be there, just DM me it. Believe me, I'll ask. I will always ask. So I saw you guys talking about Rekieta Law. Yeah, poor Nick, right? Nick did a debate, and we, that was a while back ago, wasn't it? Like at least a couple of weeks. That hey, go start. I saw you hanging out in Farron's chat yesterday, and I think this was a while ago, right? I mean, he did amazing pushback. He did the debate like you're supposed to. You know, the liberal that he was debating, he shut him down multiple times. This is what happens when you drop too many truths. And I'm kind of hoping now that the law tubers are taking it on the chin, especially since the whole Johnny Depp thing. A lot of them took hits during the Johnny Depp case, which will seemingly never go the fuck away, because I was just over on Twitter and both attorneys were trending again. Why will this Amber Heard shit never go away? It's the most psychotic thing I've ever seen. But anyways, I'm hoping that some of these lawyers can start dropping lawsuits on these platforms that are shutting us down. I mean, we keep saying we live in a capitalistic society. Capitalism will always be the balance, right? If something's shitty, then something better will come along. Well, YouTube's been shitty for a long fucking time. And because it's government ran, I don't see a counter-capitalistic platform rising up. So let's hope we can get something done about this, because our freedom of speech in America is 100% gone. 100% Somebody else gets to deem what you say good or bad, and then they get to censor you for it. I never thought I'd see it in my life, but here we are. So support the law tubers. It's just as important what they're saying, the truths that they're dropping. And I love Farron. Have you ever watched any of these streams with Farron and any of the law tubers? They are a riot. They keep me giggling and laughing the whole time. And the truths that get dropped over on those streams are amazing. So if you haven't checked out Farron Balance, please go follow Farron Balance. Farron Franzak, she does an amazing job. And I think there's big things to come from Farron. She is the coolest person. Let me tell you, in real life, her and I, we just laugh the whole time we're in the green room. Oh, and we're going to do a Johnny Depp, Amber Heard movie review on the Hulu movie, the terrible, trashy Hulu movie that came out about the trial, the Johnny Depp trial. So we will do that probably week after next. I mean, she's in the middle of she's in transition right now. I'm traveling. So next week we're going to do it. We're going to hang out. It's always fun to hang out with Farron. What do we got here? I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this one. Vanessa Beeley. Did you guys see this morning over on AM Wake Up? Oh, what a great interview. Always a great interview with Vanessa Beeley. So we're hunting them down and shooting them like pigs, how the Ukrainians are taking brutal revenge on the collaborators who betrayed their neighbors and their country to the Russians. And Vanessa Beeley tweets out, we live in an increasingly dystopian world where Nazis are being celebrated and their genocidal crimes normalized. Hear, hear. Yes, Vanessa Beeley. She has done such great work at getting us the truth, so we actually know what's going on. Sad as it is, right? The videos that we've been seeing drop, it's just heartbreaking. When you go back and you look at World War II, when this happened, say in where did it happen? Holland, right? When they came into Holland, anybody who supported the Nazis, they shaved their heads, they ripped their clothes off of them. We outcried over it, but it's okay when we support it. I just don't get the double standard on that. America's home of the hypocrite, right? That's why I close with that song. This is the Democratic Party. Please give us your money so we can warn you about what will happen when you don't do anything after you give us your money. That's pretty much sums up the Democratic Party. And what are we, 5 weeks away from this election? Don't be buying their bullshit and push back on it. Always push back on it. Oh, Harris, did you guys see this crap? So I saw this. This was on the top of Twitter this morning, and this is a fact checked, right? Did you see where Harris did the interview? And we'll play it, and then I'm going to read the fact check for you guys. So let's play what she said first.
It looks like another gaffe. It's certainly a controversy. Vice President Harris spoke about the effects of climate change on people of color and how to distribute aid after hurricane damage in Puerto Rico and Florida. She said, resources should be given based on, quote, equity. What exactly does that mean when it comes to allocating hurricane assistance? You get help depending on the color of your skin? Surely not. Social media jumped on it, though. Elon Musk tweeted this, should be according to greatest need, not race or anything else, end quote. Well said, Elon. Harris has a habit of using word salad kind of language. You listen and you feel like you're in a sociology class. Lots of left-wing jargon designed to cover the real message. Fox News Digital caught up with Harris and asked her, explain, please, the equity comment. She would not answer. She would not clarify. I suspect this administration would hand out assistance based on race, but Kamala Harris can't say that in plain English because there's an election in 5 weeks, and most voters surely do not want any racial preference in helping hurricane victims. Surely.
This woman, she talks in word salad, and we all know that. But now she's got, Twitter backing her up and saying a video clip of Vice President Kamala Harris commenting on Hurricane Ian relief efforts and the U.S. response to the impact of the climate crisis. Right? How many times have we talked about, climate crisis is just a key phrase that they love to put on the backside of the hurricane, right? That's what they can blame it on, even though we've had hurricanes for however, as long as I've been alive. According to fact checkers at the Associated Press and Reuters and PolitiFact, Harris responded to a question asked to the Democratic National Committee Women's Leadership Forum on September 30th about equally distributing resources, but her comment was not made in reference to a specific relief, says Reuters. I don't even know why we bother with these platforms anymore. Everything. If you go to your Twitter right now and everything on that right-hand side that says trending is bullshit. They control it, right? Because I know what the push with Julian Assange in this week, and especially coming into Saturday and Sunday, he should be fucking trending. But no, this is the stupid shit that you're going to see. And why? Because, we don't want to be taken out of context and look like we're terrible, even though we are. And that's what they are. Yeah. Have you seen the Lori Lightfoot karaoke dance video? Yes, I have, Ghost Star. It's terrible. God, why do these people continue to get elected if they have such bad approval ratings? And they all do, right? They all have under 20% approval ratings. Yet their re-election rates are like 60 and 70 fucking percent. Right there, we got a problem. Something's not adding up. The math ain't adding up. We hate you guys, but we're going to keep electing you. I don't know. The people that buy this, this election's going to be interesting, especially with all the mail-in ballots. And if the Dems do manage to hold on, I'm going to say it's because of mail-in ballots, 100%. Let's see. Fee says, I had to bring a Fee says. So Fee says, let's see. John Bolton says, my new article's headline is clear. Putin must go. Now is the time for regime change in Russia. Okay. There is no long-term prospect for achieving America's critical and long-standing goals of peace and security in Europe without regime change in Russia. And Fee says, John Bolton, let's achieve peace by nuking the entire world out of existence. And he'll get to tell you this is as a free man, while journalists like Julian are in jail for exposing his war crimes. Others are threatened for anti-imperialistic work in exposing the truth. This is the world. And Fee, you are dead right. Fee always says it. And yeah, what a fucking warmonger. Oh, we can only get peace if we nuke. We must nuke everybody to get peace. That's the goal. If you guys don't see the narrative and where we are marching with this shit, I can't believe every time I turn on a local or a mainstream media like, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, they're all talking about nukes, contingency nukes. So let's just call CNN the contingency nuke network, because that's all they want to fucking talk about anymore is, well, we can use some nukes on Putin and Russia and it won't be a big deal. Not like they'll respond and it'll destroy the world. I mean, do we not understand how nuclear weapons work? It's called Fallout. Like, we're not going to get it. We can nuke one part of the world and it's not going to fuck with the rest of the planet. Where do these guys get this shit? I don't understand. Oz and I always say it. They know something we don't know if they think that this is the way to go forward, right? I don't think it's going to stop till they get to play with their toys, sadly. Julian is the example. Keith Hayes, I agree with you 100%. They have to make Julian the example. So that way, anybody else who's even thinking about dropping truths shuts the fuck up. And that's the point. Did you guys? Oh, Richie Medhurst. This is a great clip from Richie. I love when Richie gets on fire. Richie gets on fire and he starts dropping F-bombs. I just get giddy. So let's check out Richie.
Line. So on one hand, they say Russia is making too much money from this. Russia is making so much money from gas and oil. We have to put a price cap to stop them making money. Oh, but do you know who blew up their own cash cow? It was the Russians. What the fuck? What the fuck are you saying? What a monstrous, colossal, astronomical fucking contradiction. This is their cash cow and they blew up their fucking cash cow. Which one is it? Are they weaponizing energy or not? You want to cut their revenue, not the Russians. The Russians want to cut their own fucking revenue. Now, granted, they stopped Nord Stream 1 last month. Yes. But they didn't stop it the months before that. The Russians are hoping that the Europeans will see reason and realize they're being abused by the Americans and leave them and start buying Russian energy again so their industry does not collapse and they don't have to burn fucking coal again. Biden ran away because he knows who did it. And it was not the Russians. Let me show you something. This is Trump. Let me show you Trump speaking to NATO, to Stoltenberg's face. And listen to what he says, okay? Let's take a... Here.
A massive oil and gas deal with Russia. I think it's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries. And then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia, where they're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia. So we're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia. And I think that's very inappropriate. And the former chancellor of Germany is the head of the pipeline company that's supplying the gas. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate? I mean, I've been complaining about this.
You get the idea. You get the idea. Trump is not happy. So he's telling the Germans, you guys are too dependent on Russia. We don't like that you're paying Russia all this money. Stop it. Does Donald Trump sound like someone who cares about Russia's interests when he's saying that? Or is he working against Russian infrastructure, against Russian interests, against Russian revenue? He's working against them. And apparently, by some people who call themselves journalists twisting themselves into fucking pretzels with their mental gymnastics, this guy's a Russian agent. Wow. Wow. He's doing a pretty crappy job if he is. They don't criticize Trump for, like, you know, murdering, almost starting World War III with the Iranians.
I don't think my cut took on that one, but I love it when Richie gets fired up. And I remember that interview with Trump, that NATO interview, and thinking, yeah, how the fuck does this work? And now we know how it works, right? So my question is as we get through this winter and Europe and Germany goes through this brutal cold winter without any natural gas, are they going to wake up and realize that it's us they should hate? Because they need to. We're the ones creating this fucking problem. We did create it. We are creating it. And is there a time when Europe goes, oh shit, wait a minute. The U.S. fucked us over. The U.S. has been duping us and playing us, because that's what we've been doing. And they're the ones that are going to pay the price for it. I mean, we're paying the price for it out of our pockets too here at home, but they're going to be paying for it, so much more this winter. Are people going to wake up in the world? Are they going to wake up and see us for the warmongering fucking empire that we are? Because that's exactly what America is. Right. We're here to sell them oil now. American energy companies make bank. Exactly, Keith. Exactly. Oh, let's see. What do we got? Oh, okay. Let's get into the hell and back portion of this show. I've got actually quite a few things. So this is, let me see. I don't have my glasses on. I want to talk about the difference between an opiate and an opioid. So, everybody just clumps all of them into one. Opiates. Oh, you're on an opiate. But the way they react in your brain is different, and how they scent on the neuron is different. And so I like to bring a little bit of, the science when I talk about addiction. And then I've brought a couple of drugs that you guys should know about, like Mau Mau. We're going to talk about what Mau Mau is and what it did here in America and what kind of damage it did. And then, of course, we've got to talk about Trank again. Trank, apparently, the drug that I described to you last week, is taking over Philadelphia and Kensington Avenue. So we're going to get to that too. So let's start out with the difference between an opiate and an opioid.
Let's first discuss the difference between an opiate and an opioid, because there is an actual difference between the two. Opiates are natural compounds that come from poppy sap and poppy plant fibers. So this would include morphine and codeine, for example. While opioids, that's more of an umbrella term, and it's encompassing any compound that is going to bind to and have an action on opioid receptors in the body. So that would include the natural opiates like morphine and codeine, but also semi-synthetic opioids. So that would include like heroin, and then fully synthetic, which would be fentanyl, for example. Now, you may be wondering why the body has opioid receptors in the first place. Well, it comes down to the fact that your body makes its own opioids to bind to those receptors. They're called endogenous opioids, and I guarantee you've heard of one of them, endorphins. Endorphin stands for endogenous morphine, but it's only one example of these opioids. You also have what are called enkephalins, dynorphins, endomorphins, nociceptin, or also called orphanin. Now, they'll bind to those receptors, and they have a whole wide variety of effects that we're going to discuss in a moment. Just understand that exogenous opioids, or coming from an external source, so this is going to be like heroin, morphine, or fentanyl, will bind to those receptors, right? So they're taking advantage of something that's already there, and then what they do is they cause an exaggerated response.
Muted. Okay, so that's just a quick breakdown. I wanted to give you guys just a little, because we're always talking about all these different substances, right? I try to bring you guys information that other people aren't talking about. Last week we talked about benzo dope, and we talked about trank. And every week I'm going to try on To Hell and Back Thursdays, I'm going to try to bring you guys some information that we're not getting. But I wanted you guys to have the base difference between an opioid and an opiate. And, basically opioids, they go and they use the same receptors that the opiates use, but they're formatted different. Some can even be synthetics or polys. They call them poly drugs, right? We talked about that last week. And let's see, I got one more clip with this guy. I find him very, what is this? The Institute of, I can't see it. Anyways, I tell you who it was, but I can't remember. Oh, come on. Why do you jump?
Need. Now, you may be wondering why fentanyl is even available given how extremely powerful it is. If you recall me saying earlier, it's around 100 times more powerful than morphine. Although I have seen some texts suggest that it could be as high as 400 times as powerful. Although they weren't perfectly clear if that was fentanyl or derivatives of fentanyl, because as depressing as this is, there are even more powerful synthetic opioids than fentanyl out there, and they are on the street just as fentanyl is. But you have to understand that fentanyl is supposed to be administered under very specific circumstances. And so think extreme pain. Maybe someone has been taking morphine, a lot of morphine for their pain. Eventually, they become tolerant to it. They need something stronger. Maybe they have cancer pain, right? Because cancer can be extraordinarily painful. Fentanyl has some great usage for that. You'll also see fentanyl be administered by anesthesiologists. Maybe someone's going under the knife, or maybe they're having an epidural for some reason. So there are plenty of use cases for fentanyl, and they have been used in very good ways, right? In very controlled and proper ways. But it's just not meant to be where it is today, and you can see why that is such a problem because of that, right? It's so easy to overdose on fentanyl, extremely easy to overdose. If you recall me saying, opioids can actually have an effect on the respiration centers of the body, so in the brainstem, but also into an area called the hypothalamus. So you have to understand that right now, as you're breathing, your body is, monitoring everything, right? You have respiratory rhythms going to your diaphragm, coming from the brainstem, saying breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, right? Your brain is monitoring how much carbon dioxide is actually in your bloodstream. And so then when carbon dioxide starts to increase, it'll actually reflexively cause you to inhale oxygen or exhale the carbon dioxide and inhale oxygen. But if you're overdosing on an opioid, that can get so saturated by the opioids themselves that you can't overcome that. And so what will happen is you will actually die from respiratory depression, right? You literally cannot breathe because the opioids have completely saturated those areas, right? The opioid receptors on those areas. And the only way out of that is with another opioid called naloxone. Also, sometimes people will call it Narcan. That's a brand of it. So what they'll do is by administering Narcan or naloxone, what will happen is those will actually bind to those same receptors and prevent fentanyl, morphine, or any of the other opioids from getting there. And it will actually, so then what will happen is the person will come out of it. They'll be able to breathe again. And typically they'll go immediately.
Okay, so I think it's important that people understand how fentanyl works on the brain and with the neurotransmitters and the neurons, because when that neuron gets completely full of the fentanyl and it's taken it over, it tells the body that it can't breathe anymore. It is like being strangled or choked, but from the inside, right? So they can't get that breath in. And only with these drugs like Narcan or naloxone, you see it spray it up their nose, it instantly kicks that fentanyl off of that receptor and says, take a breath. And so that's why it's naloxone and Narcan. These things are so important. They are important tools that, EMTs and first responders, firefighters, police officers should all have, right? Especially with what we're seeing fentanyl wise across the country. But like we talked about last week, these new drugs that are coming in, these poly drugs, they don't respond to Narcan because it's not the same. It's not a receptor that has been flooded by fentanyl any longer. Maybe there's some fentanyl in there, but we're seeing other drugs like this horse tranquilizers and benzoids, right? So there's nothing to kick off the receptor. So in essence, we can't save people. So I think it's important for people to understand why people are going to continue to die, because the drugs are changing on the street, right? We talked about this last week. So I want to say viewer discretion is advised. If you're squirmy, if you're eating breakfast, lunch, you might want to look away. We talked about this last week, but I think it's so important to continue to talk about it because this is what we're going to see going forward. And this is what they are seeing in, the East anyways. I know it's a huge, it's a huge thing that's starting to happen in Philadelphia. So let's talk about this tranq, right? We talked about what is tranq. We'll talk about it more after this clip. It's a horse tranquilizer that is being mixed with fentanyl. It's cutting fentanyl, basically. Oh, come on. Why is it double clicking on me today? The double click.
Well, first it was fentanyl. Now it's another drug infiltrating the drug supply of Philadelphia with a host of disturbing consequences. It's called tranq. Action News investigative reporter Chapadelli sits down with an amputee who shows us the impact tranq is having on drug users and doctors. And a warning, the images you're about to see are graphic.
Brooke Petter has already had a leg amputated.
No.
Now she's worried she may lose an arm.
Right there, that's my tendon.
She's among a growing number of users impacted by drug suppliers lacing the fentanyl and heroin supply with the animal tranquilizer xylazine, or tranq as it's called on the streets. We walked the streets of Kensington's open-air drug market to see its impact.
That's necrotic flesh. This actually looks phenomenal right now.
We probably didn't start seeing tranq until maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Dr. Joseph DeRazio is a Temple University doctor and an expert in addiction medicine. He says initially people like Petter never knew tranq was in the drug supply, but now they do, as it's in almost all of the opioid supply in Philadelphia. DeRazio says xylazine mixed with an opioid can create a stronger effect.
It's really cheap. Here's the thing, xylazine is an unscheduled veterinary drug. It's very easy to obtain. It's not illegal.
DeRazio says tranq causes fast-moving necrotic wounds, mostly on extremities and not necessarily at injection sites. Necrosis is the death of body tissue.
I think we're still in the infancy of understanding this drug.
Tranq causes heavy sedation. People who inject or snort it are often knocked out for hours on end. While experts say it hasn't led to a surge in overdoses, it causes other withdrawal symptoms, like extreme anxiety. Tranq is heavily concentrated in the Northeast, but DeRazio says spreading nationwide.
This is wound cleanser.
Outreach groups like Prevention Point in Kensington and the Philadelphia Health Department are now deploying pop-up medical units to help care for wounds. Too often, they say, wound sufferers are hesitant for help due to the stigma, but the loss of limbs is changing minds.
They're serving upwards of 75 people a month.
Brooke Petter continues to care for her wound, but still uses, despite knowing tranq is in the supply. Her prognosis, still very much uncertain.
I mean, you don't know how hard I've worked to get it to be this good right now. It's coming along.
Doctors say Narcan won't revive a person who's heavily sedated on tranq, but people should still administer it if you think someone's having an overdose because it's the opioids and the fentanyl that's killing people.
Okay, so I think that this story is so important to talk about because everybody talks about Kensington Avenue and the fentanyl shuffle, right? But what we're not talking about is that it's changing. It's not just fentanyl, it's tranq, it's benzodopes, and they can't be revived with Narcan. The guy just said, you know, even though it doesn't bring some people back, continue to use it, right? Because that's the only line of defense that these responders have. And I've seen abscess, right? I've seen heroin abscess from shooting up. I know what that looks like. And this isn't fucking it, guys. This is something above and beyond. This is like crocodile, which was coming out of, Russia and the UK 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And basically it's poison that you're shooting into your body. And then even if it doesn't show up in the same site that you injected, it'll show up somewhere else. And, these addicts out there on Kensington, they're losing their legs, their arms, their hands. I brought you video last week of interviews on Kensington from users. And, that woman, she knows that she lost her leg to this drug, but she can't stop. That's the power of addiction. People say, oh, just stop. I mean, oh my God, if you lose your leg, why wouldn't you stop? It's similar, reminiscent to me of the people who end up having to get a trach in their throat, but they still smoke, right? They smoke through it. I've known a couple of people like that. I mean, that's the power of addiction. And sadly, so many people are going to die from this. And it's concentrated just in the Northeast right now. We're really seeing it in Philadelphia at the Eastern Seaboard, but it is starting to move out into more areas, just like fentanyl, right? Fentanyl is making it into the rural areas. So it's only a matter of time before tranq makes its way in. And even if they outlawed tranq and they scheduled it, right, the xylazine, there's many other drugs out there that you can order from any pharmaceutical company online, some from China, some from India, and they'll ship them right in because they are not controlled substances. So even if they quash tranq and manage to kill the xylazine from being obtained by people, they'll find something else to be cutting it with. I mean, that's a tale as old as the drug war. And I just want people to be aware of what's going on, because I wasn't aware. Fentanyl's taken over. Everybody I know is on fentanyl, but I didn't have any idea about benzodopes or tranq. And so I just want to let you guys know so you can let other people know that this is what's really going on. Let's have compassion for these people. This is scary. I mean, it used to be you ran a risk of, getting scar tissue where you shot up. That was, the worst part of having a heroin abscess. People are losing their limbs and their lives to this shit. So haven't heard. Oh, I'm not sure. Okay. So I want to talk about Mau Mau. Have you guys ever heard about Mau Mau? Mau Mau was a drug that was kind of known as bath salts here in the US. And the reason they call it Mau Mau is because people who use it smell extremely like cat urine. And this really isn't so much a prevalent drug in America anymore because they have shut down the mechanisms for it to be brought in and to be manufactured. But I just want you guys to be well schooled on all of the terrible shit that's out there. So let's learn about Mau Mau.
Were cooked up in secretive Chinese labs and included future household names like Spice and Flacker. Alongside them came the ace face of the late 2000s legal high scene, a powerful synthetic cathinone called mephedrone.
Mephedrone was categorically the first internet drug. It was born on the internet. It was the rest of the people. It was shared on the internet. And people who used it initially, the early adopters, were all young people who would spend all day on the internet and discover that drugs was for sale. I mean, this was what time, like 2008, 2010 is when methadone first appeared, right? So that's like Facebook's only just started at that point. So there's a hugely different social culture, community culture, information culture. So it changed the drug culture because chemically it worked, financially it was really affordable, and culturally it was the right time.
In the UK, mephedrone became especially popular with students, clubbers, and rural teenagers. If you're not already acquainted, here are some basic pointers. Number 1, it's a potent stimulant. Number 2, it smells awful. Number 3, it's a powerful aphrodisiac. This meant that at the height of its popularity, there were a lot of horny people staying up for days and nights on end, trying to have sex with each other while reeking of cat piss. By the start of 2010, mephedrone was flying high in the UK. It polled as the 4th most popular drug among readers of the club culture magazine Mixmag, and at the University of Manchester, well over half of students said they tried mephedrone. In the tabloids, it was causing outright hysteria. One famous but entirely untrue headline screamed, "Meow meow made man rip his scrotum off." The drug was a regular sight and smell in the clubs, pubs, and house parties of cities and university towns. People would feed it to each other in spoons, too high and the MCAT too plentiful for anyone to care about rations or spillages. And then, just like that, this cat piss utopia was cut down in its prime. A British government ban landed in April of 2010.
Legal highs, of course, have been seen as somehow safe, and our message is quite clear that they aren't safe, that they cause harm. That's why we need to get the evidence to make sure that if we need to take action, we do.
Okay, so I mean, the fact that the guy says that there's smelly people that are horny try to have sex with each other. Oh my God, that's just a terrible visual or, to think of. But let's follow that up because this made me question, like, okay, if you could buy this stuff online, can you still buy this stuff online? So let's hit the next little clip on this.
For many dealers, the internet has made life both easier and less dangerous. But some in the online drugs market didn't get so lucky with the police. In the years after methadone had peaked, the realm was ruled by the notorious dark web portal Silk Road. This annoyed the FBI, who finally shut it down for good in 2014 after arresting its founder, a free market libertarian named Ross Ulbricht. Ulbricht, who was said to use the online alias Dread Pirate Roberts, was destroyed by the courts. He got a double life sentence plus 40 years with no chance of parole.
Okay, so that was the founder of Silk Road. Do you know what Silk Road is? I'm sure a lot of you do know what Silk Road is. And I see a lot of great questions and comments that I want to get back to. Silk Road was the dark web. Basically, it was an online open air drug market, and anybody could sell stuff there, and it drove the FBI crazy, right? This guy, it's a crazy story. And if you haven't checked out, it's been shut down. They arrested him, I want to say, in 2013. So I had to go grab you just a little clip about Silk Road. And I want to drop the link for you guys to go ahead and watch that later. I think it's like an hour, maybe an hour and a half long special about what Silk Road was and how they busted it. But has it gone away? Has it? Well, in some forms, yes. And in some forms, no. Of course, we still have the dark web that, anybody can get to. And we know that terrible shit is being sold on the dark web. These same things. I just don't think it's as centralized on the internet Silk Road. So let's hear about this real fast. I'm going to try to bring this up so I can drop it in the chat for you guys. Oh, come on with this crap today.
Are pointing to data.
Come on. Okay, here we go.
The FBI assigned a team of undercover agents to track Ross, and watches every move. Because they had access to the Silk Road server logs now, they could literally see when the Silk Road admin logged in or out, and it always coincided with when Ross opened or closed his laptop. It was undeniable he was their guy, so why weren't they rushing in immediately to arrest him? Well, you see, they needed to catch him with his laptop open. That laptop contained all kinds of valuable data that would not only help in prosecuting Ross, but also in tracking down other people who'd worked on Silk Road or big dealers on the sites. But if a team of agents just suddenly swarmed in to arrest Ross, he would likely have time to close his laptop lid, which would lock it. I mean, all the data was encrypted and near impossible to break into. Plus, if they didn't catch Ross literally sitting at his laptop, it would give him some kind of deniability. So they had to catch him red-handed with the laptop open in front of him so they could definitely prove he was responsible. When Ross woke up on October 1st, 2013, it seemed just like any other day. He initially went to a nearby cafe, but it was quite busy and he couldn't get a spot to work in that was private enough, so instead he went to sit in the San Francisco Public Library. He found a secluded spot where nobody could see his screen and logged into the Silk Road admin area. Of course, Ross was completely unaware that the library was filled with undercover FBI agents who were watching him. But remember, one wrong move from the authorities and Ross could panic and close the laptop, thus encrypting all the data. They couldn't let Ross know they were onto him or it would all be over. So, two undercover agents created a distraction right behind Ross, posing as a couple arguing. One of them swore loudly in the quiet library, causing Ross to turn around to see what was going on. At that exact moment Ross turned around, another agent who'd been positioned right next to him swooped in and grabbed the laptop off the table in front of Ross. Ross tried to reach out to grab it, but it was too late. Another agent had come up behind him and handcuffed handcuffed him, placing him under arrest. It was all perfectly timed, so Ross had no chance to react. Ross had been caught logged into the admin section of Silk Road, and in the corner of the computer was the name Frosty. And not just that, on his unlocked computer was a full diary about running Silk Road, along with thousands of chat messages he sent whilst running the site, all of which could be used as evidence to convict him and verify this story. Newspapers and TV stations all around the world covered the story. The Boy Scout who'd been secretly running a website that trafficked an estimated $1.2 billion of drugs, weapons, poisons, and other illegal goods. His family was sure he'd been framed or there'd been a mistake. This couldn't possibly be there, Ross, could it?
So I dropped it in the chat if you guys want to watch that later. A lot of you know about Free Ross and, you know, the Silk Road. Some of you don't. So that's why I brought it. Thank you guys for checking it out. I thought I had another link in here for you guys today, but I guess I don't. Can you still buy a lot of this shit on the dark web? Yeah, you can. I watched a journalist the other day who got a hold of a Chinese chemical company and just started asking about alternatives and what was legal to ship into the US. So there's, you know, where there's a will, there's always a way. And this continues. It's just somebody else. It's not Ross anymore. It's somebody else running the dark web. I stayed the fuck off the dark web, and I'm going to tell you why. And that is because I am smart enough to get myself in there, but too stupid to realize that I'm getting myself in trouble. So that is why I stay off the dark web. Can you imagine the trouble I would find? I don't trust our government. I know our government's looking at everything I say, everything I do. I think about emails as any email I write is public. Any DM I write is going to be public. I mean, these are the things that I have had in my head for many years now because of the censorship, because of the attacks that we've seen. So yeah, I stay the hell off the dark web because next thing I know, I'd be getting accused of something and I'd be locked up for it, just like so many others are. You guys, it's that time of year. Flu shot. Are you guys getting pressure to get a flu shot? I mean, I always got the pressure before, every time you went to the doctor's office or every time you stopped by the pharmacy. But now it seems insane. I'm getting messages from random places like, oh, you should get a flu shot. Like, why the hell should you care? So here's your flu shot message.
Are pointing to data from Australia, which is nearing the end of its worst flu season in 5 years. And they're saying it's a sign of what could be to come here in the U.S. NBC medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar is here this morning with what we need to know. We've warned about this before the twindemic, the idea that we could have COVID and the flu season. It didn't really materialize. What makes this year different and potentially more concerning?
I know, right? This is the third season now that we're heading into this possibility of a twindemic. And I know that we were happily
what the hell's wrong with that lady's eyes?
Not experiencing that. And it was really because we were all wearing masks and kids weren't in school and people were working remotely. And that helped to protect us from COVID, and it helped to protect us from flu.
Flu season is right around the corner, and this year some doctors are warning that not only could it start earlier, but we could also get more infections.
Yeah, and the prediction comes from looking at Australia, where flu season is coming to an end. That country had its worst flu season in 5 years.
Lauren, Jim, this is pretty interesting. Of course, predicting the flu is not a perfect science, but looking at data from the other side of the globe can give health officials a pretty good idea of what kind of season we're gearing up for. In fact, data shows Australia has had its worst flu season in 5 years. According to the Australian Department of Health's annual flu report, in 2021, there were only 3 patients hospitalized due to flu and no deaths. But this year, there have already been 1,708 hospital admissions and 288 deaths.
Science. Yeah, the science. Oh my God, how insane is this? Yeah. Jilly, you've been sending me some great stuff I can't play on YouTube for sure. But yeah, no thanks. I'll pass. I had a doctor, let's see, what does this say? I had a doctor in a hospital tell me I'm an idiot for not getting a flu shot. I will tell you, Jersey, every time that I've got the flu shot was the year that I was the sickest, right? I'm not saying don't get a flu shot. If you think they're helping you, get a damn flu shot. But my own personal experience, the years that I got them was my sickest years. And I think I'm just going to stay all natural. I'm going to be one of those crazy people who thinks that just being healthy and living a healthy lifestyle might do me best in the long run. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not telling you what you can and cannot do, but just makes sense. We lived all of these, centuries without shoving poison into our body. So why start now? DC says Tor plus Onion search engine. I'll never forget my very first smartphone in 2012. I had Tor and Onion search engine. There's a few times where I'll have to go on the dark web and find stuff like the Hunter Biden laptop videos when they first dropped, stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, I'm so scared that our government's going to weaponize anything that you're looking at. I know, right? Keith Hayes, I'm on the dark web. Of course you are, Keith. VPNs. Let's talk VPNs. You guys tell me who's the best VPN out there, because I'm looking for a good VPN. I know everybody's on Norton, but I see Atlas. Atlas seems to have a good price, good buy. I hate getting locked into another program that, another bill that's going to be $20 a month or whatever. They add up fast, you guys. You got all your subscriptions out there online? You got to pay for this, and you got to pay for data storage, and you got to pay for, it just seems like every day I look at my bank account and a bunch of miscellaneous shit that I don't even have a clue what it is just nickel and diming my account to that. $20 for this, $5 for that, $9.99 for this, all of these services that we've got to have to be online. And you've been using Nord. Okay. Devil's been using Nord. I definitely want a better VPN. Once I have a better VPN, maybe I'll be more likely to go hang out in places I probably shouldn't be. But yeah, definitely you want to get out there and not be seen. Get a VPN and use Tor and Onion. And yeah, you should be pretty safe, I would say. Safer than this crazy-eyed lady.
According to data.
Okay, come on. Here we go. So Twitter. Elon's buying Twitter again, guys. He's going to take over, right? How long till we get an announcement that he's backing out again or some crazy shit? I'm pretty sure that the lawsuit's forcing him to buy, right? I don't know. But we know that 80% of Twitter accounts are bots. 80. Is that mind-blowing? This is a little bit of a long clip, but I have to bring it to you guys because like the Matt Orfalea clips out there where he takes the mainstream puppet news and he just lays them right next to each other. So you see all of these reporters from around the country regurgitating word for word the narrative that they're supposed to be saying. Well, guess what? The Twitter bots are doing it too. And Jimmy brought the proof.
Guess what? 80% of Twitter accounts are probably bots. And I totally believe that.
I've always known it in my heart. The whole time, because I just it doesn't make any sense.
And by the way, the algorithm totally boosts certain people and totally suppresses other people. I'd be one of those people it suppresses. Do you know how many times people have told me that their likes have disappeared from my tweets?
Really?
And I've seen likes disappear right in front of my face.
You can take them away, can't you yourself?
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Who does that though?
But the people didn't do that, and they see a tweet of mine. So what I do is whenever I'm trending.
Am I clipping? Why am I clipping? I'm clipping just like Jimmy. Here, I'm just going to fast forward to the part that I think is pertinent because I'm clipping so damn bad. What is going on here? Come on. Oh, it's all the way down here. Okay, so I'm just going to hit play so you guys can see this. They're all the same.
But these are, someone put this together, and it's all the same tweets. The bravery of Ukrainian soldiers and civilians alike is breathtaking. The bravery of, they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying
it's the Mockingbird thing again.
This is yes.
It's like the news thing, but in print.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Guess what?
Oh, come on. I don't know why I'm clipping. Is it clipping to you guys? Because in studio, like every 2 or 3 seconds, I'm getting a clip. Like, we know how Jimmy clips, and it seems like that's what I'm doing today. I apologize. I pay for the best internet I can get in my area, but it's still not enough. So I apologize. And hey, we'll try again next show, right? That's all I can do. I brought you guys one funny for the end of the show. You guys see Fredo's back, right? Oh my God. You can't call him Fredo. That is, terrible. You're being, was it racist? I don't think so. This guy. Why would anybody give him a show after everything that has happened over the last couple of years with the Como brothers? Trying to and we called this 8 months ago when, like, oh, he'll revamp his career. Just wait. This is what they do, and expect his brother, big brother Andrew Cuomo, to be back out trying to rebuild his career too, because that's what the Democrats do, right? They go away for a little while, then they come back new and improved. We've seen them all do it. So here's Chris Cuomo's new show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Cuomo. First of all, I just want to say I'm out of money. My bank account is wiped. I'm broke. And I need to pay my bills before my wife leaves me and the IRS takes my house away. So, this is my new show. I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to earn back your trust. I've changed. Let's be honest. What I did wasn't that bad. People have done way worse than me. Just look at my brother. But anyways, I went from let's get after it to nobody's watching it. Now I know what you're thinking. Why should I watch this guy? He's just gonna lie to me again. Well, I got news for you. I'm not gonna lie. For example, I didn't watch the new movie Bros. Okay, I lied about that, but that's the last lie, I promise. Things are gonna be a little different now. I've got a new start and a clean slate. I've got a second chance to prove to all of you that I'm not just a liar. Look, we all know that everything woke turns to shit, but I need money. So please, watch my new show. And you can all call me Fredo if you want. I don't care. I'm not lying. Look, I know that the 3 a.m. infomercials on the cooking channel are going to beat me in the ratings, but I'm different now. I've changed. In these last 10 months, I've learned that my bank account needs money in it, or I won't be able to make a withdrawal. I've realized that I need to put money into my bank account, or my balance is just going to keep saying zero. I'm not the old Chris anymore. I'm no longer going to give bear hugs, and I'm definitely not going to help my brother again. Wink, wink. In fact, one of the first stories I'm doing is about nursing homes in New York. But before I get into that, I wanted to let all of you know that I'll be exposing the truth about everything as long as I get paid. Unless CNN wants to take me back. No? Okay. Well, that's all, folks. I'm Fredo Cuomo, and this is Nobody's Watching. Join us next week, where the ratings will be even lower.
Nobody's watching. That, I hope that's the name of the show, for real. These guys, they never go away. They never go away. Anyways, I hope it didn't clip too bad. We're clipping really bad in studio. I mean, it's almost like a Jimmy clip every 2 seconds. It doesn't look like it's coming across the stream that way, but you never know. So I apologize if it is. So I think that's the end of the show today. I apologize for tech issues. We're getting them worked out. I'm getting them worked out. You know, you can teach an old dog new tricks, and I'm learning. Now that I've got all these different studios, I'm going to be hanging out with Patreons. I've been saying that for a year, but now I've got the equipment to do it and the know-how. So starting next week, we're going to do a Patreon show. If you are one of our big boomer Patreons, you come kick it and hang out in the green room with me, and it'll just be us. I don't plan on broadcasting it, just to you guys, and we can hang out and talk about future stories that I should work on, you know, anything that you guys want to share. You guys produce these shows. You guys are the ones sending us the content, you know, telling us the ideas, things you want to know about, things you want to hear about. So I just appreciate you guys. So I definitely am going to be doing a Patreon hangout. And I want to thank everybody whose name is scrolling down below right here. Thanks to you, I will be doing a 36-hour Great Race run to DC from Seattle, and I'm going to bring it all for you guys. So I'm going to be recording it. I'm going to, we're going to make an Assange, clip once we get it out of there, put all of our interviews together, all the footage that we got. So look for that next week, because Oz and Linda have got amazing with Da Vinci. I mean, they just did my candidate forum for me. Amazing production. I'm so proud of them. And I'm so proud of us and what we've learned to do in the last 2 years. And that's been because of the support of all of you guys, and especially these guys down here. So thank you so much. And I'm so excited. I'm bummed because Pasta won't be there, but I did talk to Pasta for a second last night in text, and he is back. He is home safe and sound, as many of you know. So next week, hopefully Thursday, will be a true to Hell and Back Thursday, with Pasta and I both bringing you our perspectives on, you know, a couple of different topics. We talk about COVID a lot too on here on the To Hell and Back. So we'll have to be careful that we're on YouTube. We'll see how it goes. And let's see what else I got for you guys. No Brave New Future tomorrow night because Amber and I will be on a plane eating cheese. That's what we do when we go on a plane. We just love to eat cheese. Don't ask. It's like crack to us. And let's see, Saturday, there'll definitely be some streams from all of us. And no Beauty and the Boomer on Saturday. Sorry, guys. I've got a lot of great stuff, too. The refaces I've been working on. Halloween. Halloween is going to be a blast. I have been stashing so much stuff for the Halloween show. If you don't know, Beauty and the Boomer does a huge Halloween show. It's our favorite holiday of the year. All of our refaces. Last year, we did Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, my gosh. Oz refaced on Adam Curry was the best, right? I mean, we've had big parties too. I think the year before was the year that we had Graham Elwood. Did you guys see the clips hitting Twitter with Jimmy calling Graham out? Yeah, that's pretty funny. We had Ron Placone. We've had a lot of people stop by our Halloween specials. I don't know how it's going to work this year because we've gotten so much bigger and it's hard to accommodate that many people in the room all talking at the same time, but we'll figure it out and it's going to be a good, fun show. Oz always makes us some special spooky dance songs, so I'm sure it'll be fun. So as soon as we land and get back to normal, that's what we're going to be working on. And Jilly, thank you for being an amazing mod, an amazing producer. Thank you for constantly keeping me updated on everything crazy that's happening in the world. It's like having my own news report constantly coming to me in my DM. So even if I'm not responding, I'm seeing most of it. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody out here who's sending me stuff. Let's shout out the chats a little bit. Gamer for life. You're great. Thank you for supporting us. Keith Hayes. Keith, I'm so glad to see you hanging out again. Kate's the sweetest. Thank you so much. Jilly, DC. Who else is in here? Anthony. Go start. We appreciate you so much, Natalie. Natalie, I hope you can make it to the Assange in Seattle. I know Jersey Devil was hanging out. We've had a lot of people stop by today. So thank you guys for checking in. I want to hit the rock fin. Anna Maris, I see Anna Maris hanging out on the rock fin. Thank you so much. What is this name? You know me. I can't on the rock fin because I have it in dark mode. I can't see the names. Digital Goblin. Welcome. I'm sorry I couldn't see your name without my bifocals. You guys know I'm that blind that even my bifocals I can't even see out of. Copeland Morris, welcome. Leonard Trust Fund, thank you guys so much for checking in and hanging out. Everybody who stopped by today. I've got a busy next 3 or 4 days, man. I'm going to jump off here and start packing, and I got mess running to do, and I'm super excited. You know, Misty, I saw her tweet from her the other day. She was like, the closer we get, the more excited and nervous I get. And I know it looks like we just sit back here and we don't have any nerves, but I'll tell you, I have the biggest case of nerves, especially when we get on the ground with big names. I just turn into a stupid little shaking fangirl schoolgirl. I'm not even kidding. I mean, even my candidate forum last Friday, which only had a handful of people there and nothing I really cared about, I still get nerves. It's different to be behind a camera where I'm by myself just talking into the Ethernet than it is to be in front of a crowd of actual people. The last Assange event that we went to that I had to speak to the crowd, I was shaking so bad, Pasta had to hold the mic for me. So, Misty, you are not alone. I get those nerves too, and I'm really going to try to fight them this time. And I get short of breath. It's hard for me to talk. It's hard to get my message out, but I'm trying to overcome that, right? I like 5 minutes before I'll go on, I'll like, knock it off. You're fine. You can do this. Why do you freak out this way when there's actual people there? I don't know. Hopefully I'll get over it. A lot of it I think has to come with my addiction. I fried my nerve endings, taking so many illicit drugs for so long that I don't think when my body goes into some kind of weird fight or flight, I can't control it anymore. I just shake. And so I try to cover up that I'm shaking and just move forward with whatever I'm doing. But I think a lot of my shaking has to do with the fact that I fried my nerve endings. I really do. I don't know any way to control it. So definitely look for Shaky Shanda out there this weekend. And Misty, you're not alone. Everybody gets nerves, man. I get them too. So thank you guys so much. Let's see, what do I got on the deck for a closer? I'm just going to close with Violent Femmes because it's the fucking truth. America is the home of the hypocrite, right? And don't tell any truths or we'll shut you down. So I look forward to seeing everybody in DC. If you can't make it to DC, please find an Assange rally near you. They're happening all over the world. And let's stand for the truth, because once they get Assange in America, truth is gone. I mean, the truth is gone now, but it will have the final nail in its coffin. So have a great week. I look forward to seeing everybody soon. Talk to you later.
America is, America is, America is, America is, America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. American dreams are full of it. Look at the Indians, look at the blacks, look at the figures, look at the facts, look at the facts, facts not the lies, and you'll find out, big surprise, that America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. American dreams are full of it. Indians, check out the blacks, then you check out the figures, then you check out the facts, check out some facts, check out the facts, not the lies, and you'll find out it's a big surprise, right between the eyes, that America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. American dreams, only a dream, no desperation limit. Desperation level. Even though my nose don't work, I smell trouble, I smell trouble. No desperation limit, new desperation level. Murder, murder in the government. Say you're sorry. No desperation limit, new desperation level. Turn the key, turn the lock. Nationalism, you can suck my. No desperation limit, desperation level. Watch how the world's progressing everywhere. Aggression, 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 aggression.